Hey guys, I have some brand new limited edition merch available in 3 different designs that I helped create. They're available in multiple styles, including hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and more, and you can choose between many colors and of course multiple sizes. Check out the link down below before the campaign ends to help support this channel and also get your hands on some awesome shirts. Hey guys, it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another video. Today we have another Korean recipe for you guys. I'm so excited to share this with you because this is my definition of traditional Korean food. Well, not my definition. This is the definition of traditional Korean food. This is fermented soybean paste stew. I know that sounds super strange, but this is a very, very traditional Korean dish. It's called Dwenjang Jjigae. Jjigae in Korean is stew, and doenjang is the word to describe fermented soybean paste. I know, it sounds weird, but it's so good. Us Koreans, we love fermenting stuff, you know what I'm saying? So if you're Korean, this is something you grew up eating, and this is what I would describe as my source of comfort food. Anytime I don't have Korean food in a long time, this is what I crave. This is what I want. And the beauty of it is that it's really, really healthy for you guys, and it's super clean, and it's really easy to make, and it's also very easy to veganize. I'm not really even sure if non-Koreans will like this dish, so if you have tried this, or if you make this, let me know below what your thoughts are. I do want to hear your honest opinions, because obviously this is very traditional, like old school Korean food. So I really don't know if non-Koreans will enjoy these flavors because it's something that I grew up eating. So to me, it's like delicious, but to other people, it might not be like their thing. Like for me, I did not like fondue, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was in Switzerland, I tried some fondue and I was like, oh God. So that was a long time ago, pre-vegan. Anyways, whew, tangent. Well, I'm gonna stop talking. Let's get on with the fermented soybean paste stew, aka Dwenjang Jjigae recipe. First things first, I'm going to be making some kelp broth using 3 or 4 of these dried kelp pieces that I got at the Korean supermarket. I'll leave a link below to where you can get these online as well. We're going to add some water into a small pot and add in the kelp pieces and let that come to a boil. If you want to save some time, you can actually add in some kelp powder instead of using dried kelp. I would just add about like a teaspoon or so for this small amount of water. In the stew, I'm going to be adding some enoki mushrooms, some zucchini pieces, chopped green onions, and some regular onions. And I'm just going to chop everything while the kelp broth is getting nicely flavored. Now, I will leave you guys some approximate measurements in the blog post that's linked down below, but to be honest, I did not measure anything while I was doing this. It's all about intuition, and it really doesn't require any measurements. Just add in a little bit of everything and, you know, just taste it as you go. And it's very, very simple, and you don't have to measure. It's just going to add an extra layer of effort that you don't need. For the enoki mushrooms, I rinsed it out and then I just cut up the roots and separated it a little bit. I also decided to add in some regular white mushrooms into the stew as well. And the beauty of this dish is that you can add whatever vegetables you want to add into your stew. These are some of the ones that I like to add and what I would recommend, but you can also add in like potato slices as well, like little pieces of potato, which is also really yummy. And when the kelp broth comes to a boil, you want to turn it down just a little bit, maybe to like a medium heat so that it doesn't go like insane in the pot, you know what I'm saying? And another side note that I forgot to mention is do not fill the water all the way up to the top in the pot. Okay, make sure you leave quite a bit of space because we are going to be adding vegetables and all that good stuff, so it's going to get filled up, so don't fill it all the way up, okay? And after I've been like cooking the broth water for like maybe 15 minutes at a minimum, I'm going to throw in the vegetables. Now, I like to add a little bit at a time. So I add a little bit of each at a time, just in case my pot like overflows, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just adding a bit at a time just to see. And I'm using this tiny little individual sized pot, which is another reason why I'm just adding a little bit at a time. And of course, you can add in a little bit more water if you have some space at the end. Now for our main ingredient, which is doenjang. This is fermented soybean paste. This is what is going to make this what it is, okay? So you can find this in Korean supermarkets. It looks like poop. Usually it's in like a brown container. If you just tell them you're looking for doenjang, they will know exactly what you're talking about. Now, like the true Korean I am, I like to have a bit of spice to my stew, so I'm adding a little bit of Korean red chili pepper flakes, which is gochugaru, and we're also going to add some of that doenjang paste. This is the fermented soybean paste. We're going to add that in there and mix it well together. And you can of course add more later, so add a bit at a time, taste it, see how it goes, and so on and so forth. And my Dwenjang Jjigae is never complete without a bit of tofu. I'm adding some tofu pieces in there that I cut up into little bite-sized squares, and I'm adding some more enoki mushrooms because I had a bit of room in there. And in the end, I also like to add in some chopped green onions and just make sure everything is all nice and submerged. Bring that to a nice boil, guys. Now, if your Dwenjang Jjigae is overflowing, like mine always does because I'm so over ambitious with how many things I want to put into my stew, you can always spoon some of the ingredients out. You can spoon some of the broth out or whatever is in there, and then just add it back in there later after you've finished eating some of it. Most likely you won't be finishing the entire stew in one sitting, and you'll have some extra for leftovers, so then you can add the whatever ingredients you took out, add that back into the stew and bring it to a boil again. So that's one thing you could do if your stew is overflowing. You can let that boil for about 10 to 15 minutes or so to allow the flavors to make love. And I'm also going to add in some of these green peppers that I got from the Korean supermarket. This is totally optional, but like I said, I like a little spice. Once you've let that boil for a bit, it's pretty much ready to eat, guys. I would eat it with a bowl of rice and eat it straight out of that pot because that is how us Koreans do it, and it tastes best that way, in my opinion. So that, my friends, is my comfort food. That was Dwenjang Jjigae, aka fermented soybean paste stew. Ooh, hair in my mouth. Okay. And if you guys are interested in Korean vegan recipes, I have an entire playlist dedicated to Korean influenced recipes or Korean recipes. So check that playlist down below. I will link it in the description box. I want to remind you that I do have some new merch that is on sale, guys. So if you guys are interested in getting some shirts, some sweatshirts that are super awesome and cool, there are 3 different designs, multiple colors, multiple styles. If you guys are interested in any of that, check the link down below to get your hands on some merch. And of course, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!